Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. In an earlier video today, I mentioned that there was more WhatsApp deletions and secrecy, but that it wasn't related to COVID. It was related still about health. But this particular one is about a sick children's hospital, and where a whistleblower who was attempting to highlight the issues and the problems within this so that parents knew what was going on was informed that he had to delete messages so that they would not form part of a freedom of information request when the whole thing blew up and everybody knew then what was happening. This isn't just deleting informal messaging. This is a deliberate policy of destruction of evidence. This has to be police investigation from day one. No internal inquiry. No, we'll have a look at it. No, oh, it was just this and that. No, it's wholesale destruction of evidence and wholesale perversion of the course of justice. It needs investigated. Potentially, it could be very serious if people died. We'll have a look at the story, but it goes to show that deep in the heart of the SNP, at every single level and in every area of policy, people are scared of the truth and they are deliberately destroying it to make sure that people don't go to prison. Here goes. So SNP in new secrecy row after a whistleblower claims he was ordered to delete the message about sick kids' hospital. Now, they always say, if you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide. And they seem to be very scared. So what on earth have they got to hide? Well, we know, we've touched on this before. Even through the construction part of this, they were shown that the ventilation was incorrect, that there was dead pigeons, there was all sorts of problems. And there was like a fungal growth throughout the building that could have been, fixed at that point. But they said, no, we don't have the cash, just keep building around it. And so they knew in advance that all this was happening. And then when people start falling ill and dying within the hospital, which they have, then all of a sudden it's a problem. And the truth is coming out, but they don't want the truth to come out. And so they're saying to these people, please God, delete the messages. We must not have these messages come out because they will show that we knew what was going on and that we made the decisions to continue, and that makes us liable. So of course they want these things destroyed. The former lawyer said he was told to delete an important message in case it became eligible to be handed over via freedom of information request, and I do hope to God that he has not deleted it. A whistleblower has accused Scottish civil servants of institutional paranoia of secrecy and claimed officials believed they have a duty to protect the government from the press. If they're officials, they're supposed to be neutral. They're supposed to be independent and not partisan. It's not their duty to protect the government from the press. Their duty is always to the people and to the truth. If they are protecting the government, which has done something that harms the people, and are helping to cover up the truth, then they all must lose their jobs because they are not doing the jobs they were employed to do. If they want to work for the government, they resign from the civil service and go and join the SNP and work for the SNP as spin doctors or something. Edward Sodenberg, a policy advisor on a temporary contract, said that he was ordered to delete an important message about the legal approval for Edinburgh's new sick kids hospital in case it became the subject of a freedom of information request. Now, this is the sign-off. This legal approval is where it was signed off to say it's good to go. And there were problems. And so he's raised this issue. And they said, no. And they've sent this message, whatever this message shall be. They've realised that what they've said in that message is a liability issue. And so they're demanding that he deletes this message because it puts them firmly in the dock. The former lawyer has handed over evidence seen by the Sunday Times to a formal inquiry into the construction of the facility, which has been dogged by ventilation problems, like I say. Senior Scottish and UK politicians and their officials have been under fire recently, deleting WhatsApp messages during the pandemic, which had been sought by the UK COVID inquiry. And they were all going to do it, and that's why they use unofficial means like WhatsApp, so it doesn't, fall under the law regarding the retention, because they don't want any of this retained, because it puts people in jail, hopefully. Sodenberg's remarks echo claims of a culture of secrecy in Scotland made last week by Louise Lawrence, whose husband Andrew, a civil servant, died from COVID in another hospital where he was being treated for cancer. Sodenberg, that was the one in Glasgow. It was the Greater Glasgow and Clyde lot that caused all that. It was he was in the Queen Elizabeth, I seem to remember, but it's all Greater Glasgow and Clyde. And they have got a terrible record as well. And indeed, the Queen Elizabeth was another one, also built incorrectly, problems at every part of the build, and people just signed off on it. So it's probably very similar to this one. Sodenberg wrote an email 2 years ago saying that he and colleagues had been unable to find evidence that the Scottish Government's Capital Investment Group had formally approved the full business case for the Royal Hospital for Children and Young People, better known locally as the Sick Kids, in 2015. He said he was told to delete the email, but refused to do so, and good for him, and reported the senior official under the civil service procedures. Again, good for him. But what happened to that senior civil servant? In his complaint, Sodenberg said he had been told to delete the message because nothing should be put in writing in case there may be an FOI request. Wow, they really are desperately scared, aren't they? People have screwed up. People are going to lose jobs. People may even go to prison. And so they're looking to delete evidence, to erase, destroy evidence. A crime. The official, he said, told him there was no true difference between asking not to put something in writing or asking me to delete the email. And he was told by the official in February 22 that he should not have put the results of the search in writing, that it was legitimate for the government to have regard to reputational risks, and that the government had to protect itself from the press. The government, maybe, but not the civil service. That's not their job. An inquiry is examining whether ventilation problems at the Sick Kids and Clinical Neurosciences Department in Edinburgh and at Glasgow's Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, which I mentioned, where Lawrence died, put patients at increased risk of deadly infection, and it seems likely that that is the case. And we've had on the show before, on the channel before, we've actually had people involved with the design and construction stage of the QEUH, and they were saying that these faults were known at the time, and yet management did nothing. Sodenberg alleged that an official told him that it had not been decided what the narrative the Scottish Government would decide on. Well, the only narrative surely should be the truth. Anything else would be a lie. Anything else would harm the integrity of the Scottish state, surely. Or do they not want the truth to come out? What is so harmful about the truth that they need to hide it? Anyway, it was the hospital's approval. It was about the hospital's approval process, or if the issue would be disclosed to the inquiry. So they're looking to not even disclose these things to an inquiry, to cover up, to hide, to lie by omission, to show that incompetence, stupidity, deliberate decisions that may have contributed to the death of people must be hidden to protect individuals. That can't possibly be right. He said, in 2022, I wrote this case revealed the institutional paranoia of secrecy and what happens to whistleblowers, he said in a statement. He said, the modus operandi is secrecy and concealment, because of course it is, it's the SNP. Sodenberg added, the recent evidence from the COVID inquiry of officials subverting FOI laws vindicates everything I said, and I wrote to the Permanent Secretary over 18 months ago. My crime was to put something in writing, which would become part of the official record. Even worse, I then formally reported the senior official who'd asked me to delete the email. The Scottish Government spokeswoman said, we do not comment on individual staffing matters. No. Again, this don't comment on things is your way of saying, let's hope it all goes quiet and goes away. We don't want to address what is a truly awful situation where we have asked deliberately for the destruction of evidence in what may well be a criminal investigation, and nobody wants to go to jail for it. Well, they need to name names, say who the official is, charge him with the crime of, well, it's conspiracy, isn't it? It's conspiracy to pervert the course of justice if he's asking for someone else to delete evidence. That's conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Do you know what the sentence is? Life. Oh God, wouldn't you love to see it? I tell you what, it only takes one or two, and the rest of them will change immediately. When they see one or two senior officials going into Bird, getting the old door slammed, fed their porridge and told you're here for the next 10 years, then attitudes will change overnight. Coming up. So there you go. Yet again, delete the messages, hide the truth, get rid of the evidence. Why? Because it's inconvenient. Because people have made decisions that were wrong. People have screwed up. People may be held accountable and responsible. People may go to jail. The very fact that this is even a thing, that they are getting senior officials to do the government's dirty work, to basically it is a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, a conspiracy to destroy evidence. This has got to be fully investigated, but like I say, not by the government, not by any official sort of inquiry. This has got to go straight to the police. It is a crime. It is a prima facie crime. And heads must roll. Ultimately, of course, Michael Matheson. He's responsible, isn't he? That'd make more pressure for him. Dearie me. I wonder if we can blame him. Or would it be the previous health secretary? Perhaps he should go as well. Who knows? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and for heaven's sake, stay angry. Then, bye.